is Nisreen's Art World. In this podcast, I will share my thoughts about different art forms such as films, books, paintings, performing art, etc. Hello, this is Nisreen. Welcome to the 16th episode of my podcast. It's lovely to speak to you again. Today, I'd love to talk about my favorite art form again, belly dancing. I have been performing and teaching belly dancing for years now, primarily in Japan. I'm currently based in the United States. You may have heard the saying that belly dancing is for all sizes, shapes, colors, and ages. Another popular campaigning phrase for belly dance schools in Japan is, quote, "Don't worry even if you're not slim," unquote. Are these statements true? First of all, we need to break down the term belly dancing. It's a Western term for the dance form called Raks Shalki in Arabic or Oriental dance Oyun Havasi in Turkish. It could include roughly three kinds of dancing. A. Social dancing among families and friends at social settings such as weddings, parties, etc. B. Performing at festivals or small shows inside your own communities. And C. Performing at nightclubs, hotels, parties, theaters, etc. outside your community. B and C could overlap for sure, and when it comes to A, social dancing, it's obviously true that anyone can enjoy belly dancing. But the situation around C is different. When it comes to professional dancers outside the dance communities, unfortunately, all shapes is not the most suitable description. In the regions where belly dancing is a mainstream entertainment, such as the Middle East, Egypt, North Africa, Turkic and Hellenic countries, the pressure to look certain way for a belly dancer is much more noticeable. There is also variation in beauty standards depending on the area. In some countries, the dancers are expected to be tanned, while other countries prefer fair skin. Some regions are big about the Coca-Cola bottle figure, and other countries are into a shredded physique. Multiple dancers who have performed in these countries have shared their first-hand experience of being body-shamed by their audiences or pressured by their managers to have cosmetic surgery, lose weight, etc. On the other hand, in the countries like the United States or Japan, community-based settings may constitute a majority of the belly dancing opportunities. And even in more professional performing settings, beauty standards tend to have a little more wiggle room because belly dancing is not a mainstream entertainment here. Sure, it may have become much more popular in the last couple of decades, but not in the same way as ballet, jazz, hip-hop, or pop dancing. It's still considered a subculture. So, is being niche the only reason that belly dancing has been viewed as body positive in the West and other areas? Well, I came up with 3 other reasons why belly dancing has been fostering body positivity for people, especially in the United States and Japan. I will focus on these 2 countries, not because I'm dismissive of other regions, but because I'm most familiar with the situations in those 2 countries. I hope they will resonate with you. 1. Belly dancing in the context of the feminist movement. In the 1960s and the 1970s, belly dancing became popular across the United States. According to author Lauren Zahara Hards, quote, "During the sexual and feminist revolutions, belly dance was perceived as an exotic, sensual activity that was perfect for the newly free-to-be-sexy American woman. Although dancing to Make Your Husband a Sultan may seem anti-feminist now, It was a massive step forward for women to be able to openly admit to wanting and enjoying their husband's physical attention. Unquote. This rings true given that the sexual revolution which took place in the 1960s in the United States, the exoticism of belly dancing certainly made it open to the emphasis of its sexuality. In this movement, the family-friendly socializing aspect of belly dancing was less important. But we could also say women in the US back then were encouraged and touched by the way women from other cultures express themselves in a sensual way. I'm not sure if many American dancers had deep comprehension of the social risks the dancers in the Middle East, etc., were and are taking by performing in public, such as being excluded by their families. But at least their performances and all dance forms were viewed as sensuous and inspiring, even for women living in an entirely different culture. Pioneering Japanese belly dancers first went to the United States to learn belly dancing in the 1980s and the 1990s. Through their classes, this female sexuality-focused view on belly dancing was also exported to Japan as well. 2. It is inclusive if compared to some other dance forms. I mentioned earlier that there is a pressure to look certain way in the belly dance industry as well. But the flip side is the pressure comes only from the beauty standards in the area and what sells in the market. It is not a requirement of the dance activity itself. If your audience doesn't care, your body shape, weight, height, length of your limbs wouldn't matter at all, as long as you can have necessary body muscles and control. In ballet, on the other hand, your body shape is not only associated with popularity, but often with your ability as a dancer, even in the classroom. It is considered important to be extremely light and thin so as to be lifted by a dance partner as well. The terms such as ballet body shows how these values are ingrained in the ballet culture. According to the former ballet student Anna Walters, ballet dancers are 6 times more likely to suffer from anorexia than the general public. And 83% of ballet dancers experience some sort of eating-related disorder. On average, a ballet dancer's career ends by age 34 due to the physically demanding nature of the dance form. Compared to this, belly dancing is less strenuous, though of course it also depends on how busy your dance schedule is. It is not so rare to see a professional belly dancer in their 60s, 70s, and older, both in the US and other countries. Finally, 3. It is inclusive in different cultural contexts. We need to remember expectations around bodies, especially female bodies, differ depending on place and culture. So, in Japan, when belly dance schools say, you don't need to be slim for belly dancing, what they mean by slim may be different to what you think. For example, consider the term Cinderella taiju or Cinderella weight, which recently became popular in Japan. The term refers to the so-called ideal body weight for women. It is calculated by multiplying your weight in meters with your height and the number 18. For example, if you are 160 centimeters or 5'3", your Cinderella weight will be 46 kilograms or 101.4 pounds. This number is considered very low even by Japanese standards. To be fair, people in Japan tend to be naturally smaller than those in the US, but still, this weight is below average weight. Medical professionals in the nation have been keen to spread awareness of the danger that comes from extreme dieting. However, this is just one example of the enormous amount of pressure on women in Japan or other East Asian countries to be light and dainty. If you look at the popular female K-pop stars, you may notice how being slender is considered a huge part of beauty in East Asian culture. Of course, being slim and fit is important in American, especially European American culture too. However, monolithic beauty standards are even more significant in cultural spheres where individualism and female empowerment are not mainstream. By these extreme standards for thinness, of course, belly dancers would strike people as very diverse in their body sizes. In conclusion, belly dancing has been perceived differently through the lenses of the culture and society that adapted it. I truly believe belly dancing is a liberating activity for any person of any shape, age, gender, and skin color, not only in the sense of physical abilities, but also because it's a dance form that allows you to be spontaneous and to improvise to the beautiful music. What did you think? I'd be delighted if you write a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts or rating on Spotify. It would be lovely if you share this episode on social media as well. And of course, you're more than welcome to let me know your thoughts from the contact form in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye for now.